Period for November 2nd. We'll start with a presentation from Councilmember Henderson.
Today. It's so funny. I teach just for this, but I did.
You'll have to read, so it might be a second.
It's okay to be individual. Figure it out.
Okay, really. Scoot around. So.
We did that last time.
We'll start. We go to Fred. Yeah, move around. Yeah, perfect.
But we'll just get it. We'll get it. Okay, you don't want to be called on. Okay.
The person from your left is going to read it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna make a line.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. No, on this side. Yeah,
Mr. Pro Tem. May I
Councilmember,
proceed?
please.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Colleagues, I joined together with the Women's Caucus, and I appreciate all of our male colleagues signing on as well, and my co-sponsor, Councilman Young. We passed at last meeting a resolution bringing awareness to breast cancer for the month of October, which is just concluded. We all joined as colleagues in wearing pink to raise that awareness at last meeting. Colleagues have shared with me that they have been touched by this disease, whether through the loss of a parent, an aunt, a friend, a colleague, a spouse. And so, as you'll hear in this resolution, 1 in 8 women will contract breast cancer within their lifetime. And for that reason, we joined together as a women's caucus and as a council body to elevate awareness in our community. This is a resolution in support of Nashville women diagnosed with breast cancer and of breast cancer awareness in the month of October and throughout the year.
Whereas cancer is the second leading cause of death in the United States, exceeded only by heart disease, and 1 in every 4 deaths in the United States is due to cancer, and whereas 1 in 8 women, 12.5% of women in America will contract breast cancer within their lifetime, and
whereas cancer is a group of diseases characterized by uncontrolled growth and spread of abnormal cells that can result in death if not treated. Although causes of cancer are not fully understood, numerous factors are known to increase risk, including many that are potentially modifiable, including tobacco use, excess body weight, and lack of sleep, and other factors that are not, such as inherited genetic mutations. These risk factors may act simultaneously or in sequence to initiate and or promote cancer growth. And whereas while having a mother or sister with breast cancer can double a woman's risk, less than 15% of women with breast cancer have a family history of the disease. And
whereas 968 women in Tennessee died of breast cancer in 2019, of whom 80 were Nashvillians. And whereas, according to the American Cancer Society, in the U.S. in 2021, there will be an estimated 281,550 new cases of invasive breast cancer, and 49,290 cases of ductal carcinoma in situ diagnosed in women, and an estimated 44,130 breast cancer deaths. And
whereas from 2008 to 2017, invasive female breast cancer incidence rates increased by about 0.5 per year. And
whereas since its peak in 1989, the female breast cancer death rate declined by 41% in 2018 because of earlier detection through screenings, as well as increased awareness of symptoms and improvement in treatment. This decrease translates to approximately 403,200 fewer breast cancer deaths during this time period than would have been expected in the absence of this progress. However, the pace of the decline has slowed from almost 2% annually in the 2000s to 1% per year from 2013 to 2018. And
whereas early detection is key to breast cancer survival, women are encouraged, especially in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, not to skip their annual mammogram screenings. And whereas in 2009, the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommended that routine screening mammograms for women with an average risk of breast cancer should start at age 50 instead of age 40. But the recommended changes were very controversial and were not universally adopted. Since that time, the American Medical Association, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecologists, the American College of Radiology, the American Cancer Society, the National Cancer Institute, and the National Comprehensive Cancer Network have all issued guidelines stating that women should be eligible for screening mammograms starting at age 40. And
whereas 80% of women in Davidson County aged 50 to 74 have had mammogram in the last 2 years, compared to 77% in Tennessee and the national average of 75%. And
whereas lack of health insurance prevents many Americans from receiving optimal cancer prevention, early detection, and treatment. Uninsured individuals and those from other marginalized populations are substantially more likely to be diagnosed with cancer at a later stage, when treatment is often more intensive, costlier, and less successful. And
whereas the Tennessee Breast and Cervical Screening Program of Nashville, Davidson County, administered by the Metropolitan Public Health Department, offers free screening mammograms and uninsured or underinsured low-income women beginning at age 40. And
whereas women with breast cancer will have a variety of treatment plans depending on the type and stage of their cancer. In recent years, advocacy groups have formed as a part of the Going Flat movement to increase awareness and acceptance of mastectomy with an aesthetic flat closure rather than reconstruction. In research published in January of 2021 in the Annals of the Surgical Oncology, nearly 75% of women surveyed who opted for no breast reconstruction after a mastectomy were satisfied with the results. And
whereas during lumpectomy or mastectomy surgery to remove an original diagnosis of breast cancer, the surgeon removes all the cancer that can be seen and felt. But tests for cancer are not yet sensitive enough to detect tiny groups of cancer cells that may be left over after surgery. It is possible for isolated groups of cells to survive radiation therapy and chemotherapy intended to reduce the risk of recurrence, and even a single cell that escaped treatment may be able to multiply and grow into a tumor. And
Whereas a breast cancer recurrence or recurrent breast cancer is cancer that has come back in the same or opposite breast or chest wall after a period of time when the cancer could not be detected. There can be local, regional, or distant recurrences. When breast cancer comes back in other areas of the body, it is called metastatic. Metastatic breast cancer is stage 4 breast cancer, and
whereas, due to fear of recurrence, breast cancer patients may struggle with how best to describe themselves after their treatment concludes. Some find strength in calling themselves a survivor. But it is important to listen closely to women with breast cancer and to let them choose the words to best describe their own journey. And
whereas cancer is often described as a battle, and while this language may be encouraging to some, it is important to remember and acknowledge that no one dies from cancer because they did not fight hard enough.
Whereas communities of support are essential for the mental health of people diagnosed with cancer. Free classes and support groups, such as those offered in Nashville by Gilda's Club of Middle Tennessee, are helpful for cancer patients and their loved ones during and after treatment. American Cancer Society, breastcancer.org, and other organizations provide research and educational resources, online support forums, and other supportive services for women living with breast cancer. And
whereas October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month is an opportunity to highlight and share helpful information and encourage women to focus on their well-being, general health, and breast health, breast cancer awareness, education, and support is important throughout the entire year. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. The Metropolitan Council hereby goes on record as expressing its support for all Nashville women living with breast cancer and their families, and for the medical professionals working to support their patients and prevent and cure breast cancer. This resolution shall take effect from and after its adoption, the welfare of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County requiring it. Thank you.
Thank you, council members. Councilmember Stiles.
Thank you very much, Pro Tem. So last month, in addition to honoring breast cancer, we also honored Domestic Violence Awareness Month by wearing purple. A year ago, we did a resolution honoring the 20th anniversary of the YWCA and the Weaver Domestic Violence Center. So finally, now that we're in person, we have an opportunity to present this to them this evening. A resolution recognizing the Weaver Domestic Violence Center for 20 years of dedicated service to the Nashville community. Whereas the YWCA of Nashville and Middle Tennessee first opened its domestic violence shelter in Nashville in 1980, and
whereas in 1997, the Metropolitan Council approved the donation of land to the YMCA to build a larger domestic violence shelter in order to address the increasing need for domestic violence assistance. And
whereas the larger Weaver Domestic Violence Center opened in the year 2000, and this center is now at an undisclosed location in Nashville and has 40 beds, and is now called the Weaver Center. And
whereas the Weaver Center has 51 rooms and is the largest shelter of its kind in the state, and provides a place for single women and women with children in crisis to escape from unsafe situations. And
whereas the Weaver Center provides women and their children with wraparound services, including basic necessities such as food and clothing, and provides specially designed programs such as on-site therapy and self-care classes. And
whereas in 2016, the Metro Nashville Police Department adopted the Lethality Assessment Program, LAP, which is an innovative strategy to prevent domestic violence homicides, which has significantly helped the Weaver Domestic Violence Center. And
Whereas in 2018, as a result of the increased number of calls and need for services after implementation of the LAP program, the YWCA expanded the Weaver Center to add 15 more beds, bringing the total number of beds to 65. And
whereas in 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Weaver Center has seen an increase in calls, and in response, they expanded the 24-hour crisis line to include a text service. It is the only 24-hour domestic violence text line in Tennessee, and with the rise in calls and text, still continues to serve families fleeing violent homes. And
whereas each year, the YWCA Weaver Domestic Center serves more than 500 individuals and children, and
whereas since its opening, the Weaver Center has been able to serve more than 8,000 women and children in need and has responded to more than 20,000 crisis calls, and
whereas this Metropolitan Council wants to commend the YWCA for the work that the Weaver Domestic Violence Shelter has accomplished in the Nashville community over its 20 years of service. The Metropolitan County Council hereby goes on record as recognizing the Weaver Domestic Violence Center for 20 years of dedicated service to the Nashville community. This resolution shall take effect from and after its adoption, the welfare of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County requiring it. We do have the CEO with us this evening. Sharon Roberson, would you like to give us a few words?
Yes. I would like to just thank the members of the council for this honor. We work very hard each day at the YWCA, making sure that women and children are safe from domestic violence. And without your support, we could not carry out this mission. I thank you.
Ladies, we're going to take a quick picture. John, can you picture?
Move on to announcements, if anybody's got them. Sorry for rushing. We only have 12 minutes left. Councilmember Withers.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pro Tem. Wanted to touch base quickly on the redistricting process that is underway for Metro Council and school board districts. Want to thank the planning department staff who've worked on publishing the first draft maps on the Redistrict Nashville website. Hope everyone's checked that out. Want to thank the staff again for working with holding open houses and listening to feedback from constituents, council members, other electeds, and trying to refine those maps a little bit more. My understanding from staff is that that feedback is still being processed, and we hope to have updated maps published on the Redistrict Nashville website, possibly by Friday. So encourage everyone to check out that website. And then next steps will be determined after that. Ultimately, this does have to go before the Planning Commission and the Council, but just want folks to follow that on the website weekly, if not more, and continue to provide feedback and stay tuned. But thank you again to the staff and to the public for participating in this process.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmembers, please hit your button, please. Don't see Councilmember Roten, so Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. I did not appear to be able to hit my button, so apologies for that. We'll check on that before we get to the floor, I hope. Just wanted to remind people, even as the Delta variant seems to be receding somewhat here as we progress through fall, that our best tool to keep one another safe from COVID-19 is the vaccine. The Metro Public Health Department is with OEM and our partners at Meharry offering testing and vaccine clinics at 2491 Murfreesboro Pike, the former Kmart site, as well as one at 28th Avenue and Charlotte Avenue. That's 350 28th Avenue North. And they're offering free PCR COVID tests as well as both Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. So if you need to get tested, Those sites are freely available. If you need to get a vaccine, you can get either the Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson vaccines. And again, the COVID-19 vaccine is free to everyone at these sites. If you'd like to work with your health provider, please do so. If you have any questions, you can contact your health provider. You can visit covid19.nashville.gov for more information about the status of the impact of the virus in Nashville and also resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Porterfield.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. And for my colleagues that are having a hard time showing up to speak, if you actually click the word agenda on your screen, it will give you the request to speak option. I just wanted to make a couple of announcements. First and foremost, thank you to all our District 29 litter leaders that have been coming out every Saturday to do our litter walks. It is very much appreciated. With the weather getting colder, we are going to reduce from every Saturday to once or twice a month. So if you are interested in participating in our litter walk program, please go to www.tinyurl.com/D29litterwalks. Again, that's www.tinyurl.com/D29litterwalks to sign up to help pick up litter and keep our community clean. Thank you to all the neighbors that came out to our traffic calming meeting. As previously stated, we did get awarded traffic calming for Owendale, Castlegate, and Forest View. So thank you to all the neighbors that came out and participated. We will have more information coming out about next steps with that program. Also wanted to announce that we have our next Minority Caucus meeting next Monday at 5:30 p.m. here at the council office. And lastly, we will have an additional community meeting for the project that is on Anderson Road. That meeting will be virtual, and the date and time will be announced in the next newsletter. Thank you, Pro Tem.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Roten.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Last week I had a big announcement about a massive trash pickup in my district, but I'd walked out and you didn't get to me. So I contacted the folks this week and they've decided that District 35 is the best place to do this trash pickup. They're going to be doing it hundreds of acres in District 35, and they're going to be contacting the Pro Tem to lead the charge for this big pickup this weekend. And so we are very pumped to come out and help you lead the charge for this big trash pickup over your entire district this weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember. We prefer trash pickup and not trash dumping. Councilmember Lee.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two announcements to make. On the 10th of this month, we are going to have a virtual community meeting for District 33. If you are not following me on my Facebook page, Antoinette Lee 33, then you may send an email to roseanne.hayes@nashville.gov and give her your address, your contact information, and she will make sure you get the link. This is going to be a wonderful meeting. We are going to talk about the trash in the community, trash pickups. We're going to talk about the crime in the area, and we're going to talk about potholes. And we are going to have someone there to present the possible redistricting of District 33. So this will be a meeting with representatives from Metro to announce these things. Also, I want to announce on December the 1st, we will have a call education committee, and it is going to be jointly with the Budget and Finance. We are also inviting them to the meeting. We're going to have the Director of Schools, Dr. Battle, at this meeting. So it should be a wonderful meeting. Hope you can attend. It will be at 4 o'clock, and there's more information on that will follow. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilmember. Just for everyone's reference, we only have 5 minutes left. Councilmember Sepulveda.
Thank you, Pro Tem. Announced that we'll be having District 30 office hours this Saturday from 10 to 11 at La Delicia Mexican Restaurant on 4930 Lombard Drive. Este sábado tendremos horas de oficina para el Distrito 30. Será de las 10 hasta las 11 de la tarde en 4930 Lombard Drive y será en La Delicia Mexican Restaurant.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Rutherford.
Thank you, Pro Tem. Two quick announcements. District 31 office hours will be this Saturday, November 6th at 10 a.m. at Sweetwater's Coffee Shop in Lenox Village. And this will be posted to my social media and, of course, the events calendar. And secondly, I also want to remind council members that last week you received the final report from the Metro Council Special Committee on Veterans. Over the course of the past year, a number of people, including some council members and veteran-related community members, have been working really hard to put together that report. I encourage you to read it, as it is a great framework for how to better serve our veterans. The committee worked very hard and committing their time to the effort, and I look for good things to come from that report in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. I just wanted to alert residents who are unaware that on Thursday evening, this Thursday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., we'll have a Zoom meeting about a potential downzoning of Stewart's Ferry Pike in response to a property at 1624 being subdivided and resident questions about that. 1624 is the Williams House on Stewart's Ferry, a historic home that is in danger. I do have a potential buyer who will also be joining our call. And thank you. You can go to my Facebook page to find out the information about how to log on. And last thing I wanted to point out is I also am having issues with being, on the screen. So IT to the rescue. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Yeah, the people who've pressed the button are not showing up this week. So anybody, Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to invite folks to join me at a District 33 area meeting to talk about a proposed development at 6103 Mountain View Road. That will be on Thursday, November 11th. It will be a Zoom meeting, and Rosie will send out the link to that to the District 33 web database. So it's Thursday, November 11th.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Hancock.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. I would just like to remind everyone that we are having our annual, and it was skipped last year, but now again, annual Veterans Day Parade on Veterans Day, which is Thursday, November 11th at 11 a.m. downtown. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Anybody else? Councilmember Swope, you have any wisdom for us? Great. All right. Council meeting starts in 2 minutes.